Hello guys, welcome back to another amazing podcast. Aki's Dive Deep. We diving deep with our boy Selman today. So they can see it.
Oh yeah, at Selman on IG.
Selman, would you like to say hello to the camera and
What's
to
up,
the
guys?
people?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You know, this is a long-awaited podcast with our brother right here. You know, he's a part of the same group as us. You know, in niche. You know, we are Muslim content creators. No, thank you.
I don't think people realize how big this podcast right here we're doing is. I feel like we want to have one of the best or the biggest podcasts in the world. We're going to have to mark my word for that.
Inshallah.
And contrary to a lot of the podcasts out there, we try to have people like, you everyday people that have like a very interesting background, very relatable. And they come from the same community or a similar struggle as well. And today, man, we got from our own community, some man. And just before we get into everything else about you, I want to kind of touch on something that is like very important to me, right? Or I think it's very important to mine and Naz's journey as far as like Jim Aki's, right? I remember when I first seen your first post on Instagram, you said something about it's time to stop consuming and start creating. Mm-hmm. Can you walk me through that journey? Like, where did you get that inspiration? How did you even come about creating start your content creation journey?
Yeah, good question. So just like everyone else, just before the content creation, I was doing calisthenics. I did start doing handstands, but I wasn't really posting anything like on social media or anything. And same as everyone else, I used to scroll on like social media a lot. Sometimes I still do. It's like a bad habit, like to stop. Yeah. But scrolling through all that and like seeing like that's when calisthenics like started like getting posted more on my feed. Yeah. And I was like, man, like if like they can do that, like I can do that too. So I created an IG. I was like I was already like doing my handstands and stuff like that, so I made like a handstand compilation of like from the beginning to where I was at then. And I said for the caption, since it was my first post, I was gonna be like, I'm tired of consuming, time to create, like time to create like my own like calisthenics page, and like inspire, motivate other people like the other people that did to me.
Because I'm not gonna lie, you kind of motivated Jim Aki's low key, because when I first seen your account, I was like, dang, he's like someone of our community, he's starting this, like, and it inspired me in a way, because I was like, I wanted to do the same thing at the same exact time you did it, but what was like scaring me was like, people be like, oh, you're copying him, this and that, but you can't worry about that and copy it, because there's a lot of people doing the same thing, you know what I'm saying? So
facts. Sometimes you just gotta like just jump straight into it, like you can't think too much, you just gotta do it.
For sure.
The thing is like similar to just like a real life. I feel like a lot of people go through, like especially when you're younger, identity crisis, or like for trying to figure out who you are as a person, right, in this world, because there's so many things that are pulling you to different directions, right? And you're trying to form your identity through culture, religion, and just your environment in general. And I feel like it's the same thing online. For us, I feel like there's a lot of people that are qualified to give advice about fitness, right? Way more qualified than we are, and would look way better than aesthetically, physically than us. That was Selman's dad, by the way, guys. But
we cut that part
out. But what the point I guess I'm trying to get to is that like, so the thing is, although there's other people that are like, do handstand crazy, like,
way
on
better
a different level, exactly. But you starting your journey online has been relatable to a lot of people and even motivated them to start their own, fitness journey, right? So how do you deal with that? Like knowing that there's like, there's so many content similar to yours, there are people even more qualified than you, but you still choose to create a path and then try to like, what I mean?
Like I feel like I relate to like you guys, like you said, and motivated you guys to start doing like gym content. And since I wasn't like really like up there yet, I'm still like, I say beginner intermediate level in calisthenics. it relates to like the lower level.
Yeah.
Because that's where like most people I'd say are at. Because the people that are at the top, they're like really high level.
Yeah.
And it's only like a handful of people, like maybe like 5%.
Yeah.
And so I'm just here to relate to like the lower like beginner intermediate level in calisthenics, stuff like that. Yeah, pretty much relating to them. That's how that's what keeps my content pushing forward.
No, for sure, because there's a lot of people out there who are scared to do things because they look at people and they're like, oh, I can never get to that level, you know?
Yeah.
So like when they see someone that could be close to relatable, it makes it easier for them.
Facts.
And they like following that, you know?
Facts. And that's what I'm doing right now. Like I'm training for a new skill called the front lever, and like I'm posting like exactly what I'm doing every time I'm having a training session.
Yeah.
And like I'm starting from literally zero.
Yeah.
And until I get to like the actual front lever, like you'll see like everything I've done until then, and it's obviously possible.
For sure, yeah. Oh yeah, can you just if you want to plug your jump out?
What is like the future for you, man? Like in content creation, like what do you foresee for yourself? What do you envision yourself doing?
So yeah, I do want to get like a good amount of skills in calisthenics. Handstand, push-ups, probably want to get that to like a handstand 90-degree push-up. Front lever. Obviously, like I want to reach, like I want to gain like a bigger audience to like motivate and inspire. And you know, that's always been the main goal, like motivate other people like you guys to like do what you want to do in this life, like do something you enjoy.
Yeah.
The end goal, I'd say, because for me, like the goal is always changing as I'm growing. Like it just gets bigger and bigger. So I'm pretty sure like when I get to that point where I have a bigger audience, like the goal will just be even higher. But that's just me because like I'm always hungry for more. But you know, sometimes you got to be content as well.
Yeah.
But inshallah, like gain a bigger audience, motivate more people, link up with some other like big Muslim calisthenics athletes.
Yeah.
Inshallah in the future.
Inshallah.
Stuff like that.
I got a question for you, you know. So as a Muslim influencer, you know, I know it must be hard being on, you know, Instagram and, you know, being around that. There's a lot of things, you know.
A lot of fitness.
Yeah, a lot of fitness. So what do you do to like avoid or like try to like make your content as, you know, cater to the, you know, Muslim community and stuff too?
So the number one thing is like I can't like really use any music because music for me like it's a no bueno
for sure.
Because like I did see somewhere that like even if you like gain like a lot of views from the music, because I know how the algorithm works. If you use like a song that like is like blowing up and has a lot of views to it, and like you guys like see it yourself. Yeah. Like when there's a song that's blowing up basically, and a lot of people use that and they get more views from that song because people are hearing that song a lot on their algorithm. It's gonna show up again and again. But for me, I just chose like I wasn't willing to compromise like my religion just for like some views. And on top of that, you'd be getting sins for every single view you got. So that's something like I'm trying my best to avoid. Sometimes it gets hard. You know, sometimes like I want to use music in my videos.
That's true.
Because like it makes it look cooler, sound cooler, but like I'm not willing to compromise for that stuff.
Sometimes.
It gets tempting, but like I just say it's not worth it. Like throwing away my akhirah over like.
As an influencer, as a creator, you know, compromising, you know, your religion. It's like you gotta always put you know
like the religion
everything first, you know. So like you can't let that.
Because that kind of made me think of like, imagine if it's hard for us, it's tempting for us at this stage where the reward is so minimal to like, you know, use or engage in those like, you know, type of activities, right? I feel like the you know, the more you grow as a content creator, as an influencer, the reward become bigger because there's a lot of companies that want to, you know, pay you for this amount. Now the money's involved. I feel like it becomes so much harder or more tempting at that level. You know what I mean?
I can only imagine like what the bigger like Muslim content creators like go through. But alhamdulillah, I'm not at that point yet. Inshallah, in the future, like, I'll see how it is, but, like, I'll adjust accordingly,
For sure.
I'm not willing to compromise for that stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Inshallah, in the future, like, I can say the same thing.
Yeah, inshallah.
For sure. But what do you think? I mean, I guess, like, since we've touched on the the content creation part, I kind of want to take it back to peel back the layers and get to know you as a person, right? Where do you think all that comes from? That value of knowing that you don't want to compromise for your religion and stuff like that. Because nowadays, like, it's hard, bro. And I'll be the first to admit, like, I'm not perfect. Like,
for sure, nobody's perfect.
You know what I'm saying? I would never tell nobody to ever look at me as like as an example of, like, what
100%.
how somebody should conduct themselves in this deen, right? So I know it's very hard out here. So where do you get that value or that understanding that you don't want to like the religion is above everything else? Where does that come from?
I'd say, like, the people you surround yourself with, if they're good people, they're on their deen, they're religious, you're going to be religious too. And, like, if they see you doing something wrong, they're going to say, like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. They're going to advise you. And as for me, like, to them, I'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, saying, this is wrong, you shouldn't do that, things like that. Having a strong religious group around you, a group of brothers, like this right here.
Yeah.
Like, that's something you want to have. Like, it keeps you, like, keeps you disciplined and motivated, like, to not compromise your deen.
That's true. You're saying, like, growing up near MCCs, that, like,
growing up near the masjid, it helps enormously.
For sure.
Having a good religious father and mother, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Is there, like, a shift to a point where, like, you've always had that? Because I feel like we all have, go through our own journey. Struggle. There's a point I was, like, stronger, and there's a point where I was very weak,
Yeah.
But then there's, like, certain things that kind of, like, help you shift from the one side to another. Was there, like, that type of phenomenon for you where you've, so you was going through this weak point and you realized, what made you realize it? If you can pinpoint to, like, a point.
Everyone has times, like, when their iman is, like, low and high. Like the sheikhs, they always say this. Your iman isn't going to be high all the time. Like, sometimes you're going to have, like, low days. And for me, like, I guess during 2020, like, during the COVID lockdown, I had more time to myself, so I had more time to think. And in that time to think, like, you can think about, like, like, why am I doing all this? Why am I praying? Who was Allah?
Yeah.
Like, the questions like those. And once you figure out those questions, like, it motivates you more to, like, be on your deen.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.